welcome back to the Glazov gang with the best Glazov gang ever. John Duffy, Anne-Marie Murrell, and Orestes Matacena.
So let me tell you something. You and I, we are the only ones here who have an accent. Hey? You know?
No, my Canadian accent is getting better. Is it getting better?
Oh, no, it is not getting better.
No? A boot? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our cultural moment that's always at the beginning of part 2 of every show. And we're going to start with Anne-Marie, an imitation, an impression maybe?
Of what?
Anything. How about of my Canadian accent? Can you do it?
I can talk about my southern cousin from Mississippi who's hanging out with me today.
Excellent.
He's over there.
Excellent.
My
and what's her
Mississippi
name?
political chick, Lydia Goodman, who is a wonderful
Wow.
writer.
I met her too. She's incredible.
Yeah. She sure is.
And, okay, but can you do, that's fantastic, but can you do, maybe can you do Schultz on Hogan's series?
Miley Cyrus. Do you want to see that? No.
Well.
Now that'll help up his ratings a lot.
Well,
what's that called? What's that called? The wrinkle? What's that dance?
Twerking.
Twerking. That's how much I don't know.
So Anne-Marie will be twerking on a future episode of the Glazov Gang.
There we go.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. And
John,
there's the cover photo.
Okay, John Duffy. An imitation, an impression.
Well, I won't give you an imitation, but everybody,
John Voight.
everybody says that when I ask people where my accent is from, you talk about both of you have an accent. Everybody thinks I'm from Boston for some reason.
Patakad Havid Yad.
Exactly, Patakad. Or if you've seen the movie Heat, they talk about, says, my partner's a narc. Knock? He said, no, narc. Knock? And they got that Boston Irish accent. So everybody, for some reason, says I'm from Boston. I don't hear it. Do you hear it?
You're like from the Bronx.
That's right.
South Bronx.
That's right. The
all
South Bronx.
Now that's great. Now can you give us an impression, imitation, or maybe even a story out of your life, maybe somebody you punched out or something that happened?
You got a bad impression of me, Jamie. Just because I gave you a picture of me with a gun, you think I
okay, let's show. Okay, let's do that instead for the cultural moment. We're going to show this picture. We're going to put it up on the screen. Why don't you tell us what this picture is about?
Well, I say I have 5 lifetimes. This is me today as a film producer. I'm on my 5th lifetime. But I was also, and hopefully I got 2 more left.
But just wait, before we go on, we've got Beneath the Darkness, a movie you've produced with Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, I was a line producer on Beneath the Darkness, Who's Your Caddy, which, believe it or not, is Bill Clinton's favorite movie. I have no clue why.
Wow.
I'm not sure. It just shows that his taste in movies may not be that great, but I line produced that movie as well.
Now, I got a hero of mine, Michael J. White. I loved him in his movies Undisputed and all those tough guy films.
Great martial artist.
But you did Blood and
Bone with him.
Okay.
Yes. But in this thing, I was an actor. I played a hired killer, and that's where that picture comes from, a movie called Bums, when I was first starting out as an actor before I moved behind the camera.
Okay, now you played hired killer. That's a bad guy, and they say that usually good guys in life play bad guys in movies.
That's right.
So you're a good guy.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, Anne-Marie, you don't be so modest. You starred in the A-Team.
I didn't star in the
What
A-Team.
were you in the A-Team?
I did little tiny bit parts and different things. On the A-Team.
Like what parts?
I was on Sledgehammer.
There you go. Okay.
On ABC a billion years ago. I was in a movie called Sunset Strip. I played Judy Ray. I was a hooker.
Oh, no.
And before the opening credits, I was shoved into a car and thrown off the Hollywood Freeway Bridge. The last thing you saw was with a big semi going past.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Now, Orestes, please, before we get into the issues, I got to hear one more time. Don't worry about it. Can I say
Don't worry about it. But I'm
So good.
I'm going to, well, you're Russian and you speak Russian, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say a couple of things here to her.
Oh.
Not to you, to her.
Okay.
Be красивая гражданка на мир.
Oh my goodness.
Excellent.
Eh?
Excellent.
How was my,
Yeah, you're very beautiful.
Yeah.
And what's the second part?
Be красивая гражданка на мир.
Excellent. You know what? I forgot what that means. Grajdanka.
You are the most beautiful woman in the world.
Okay. My
Now I can
family's
say it in
gonna be very
German
upset.
too.
Okay, now, but just wait, and now I'm going to do the cultural moment. Do any of you know the scene in The Goodfellas in the beginning when Tommy says, "What do you mean I'm funny? What do you mean I'm funny?" to Ray Liotta? Remember, he says,
Vaguely
"You're funny."
remember that,
He
yeah.
says, "You're funny, Tommy," and then Tommy says, "What do you mean I'm funny?" Okay, so you say to me, I'm Ray Liotta. You say to me, what do you mean I'm funny? Am I a clown? Say,
What do you mean I'm funny? Am I a clown? Huh?
It's the way you tell the story, Tommy. It's the way you tell the story.
What?
Okay, and now I won't give up my day job. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a very good time, and we're having a good time. It's important to laugh in these depressing and despairing times, right?
Yes.
Back to the very serious issues of our time. And I would like to speak to each of you because each of you, in one way or another, left the political faith, even if it was for a minute in its own way. John, in our last episode, you discussed your way into Maoism, hanging around with the Black Panthers, but you were a big-time commie. Give us 5 seconds on that, but give us a minute and a half on why you left the faith.
Well, like I mentioned to Orestes, when I was 15 years old, I was going to go cut sugarcane in Cuba with the Venceremos Brigade. When I was 26, I led a trip to communist China and met with the leaders of China, Shanghai mayor, and everybody at the age of 26. Why did I leave? I started to see things, you talk about it in your book, United in Hate, the true believer mentality, where you get caught up in this belief system. And that was the belief system I had. And I hadn't seen the other sides. And then when I saw China, I started seeing some of the dark side. And then when Cambodia, the killing fields, I started to realize the brutality of communism, which they didn't present to you when they took you on the tourist trips and showed you the beautiful fake stories that they presented.
The Potemkin villages.
The Potemkin villages.
So you started seeing through that.
I started seeing through that. And then I had an experience. I went back to school when I came back, and I went to got my GED and went to college. And in college, I picked up some CIA fact books. And in those CIA books, I never read anything like this. And they broke down every communist country. And I was fascinated. As I read them, I saw the other point of view about what communism was, and it started to ring true.
Okay.
And it started to open up that light bulb in my brain.
John, I apologize. It's difficult within a few seconds to answer something of this profound nature, but what led you into that darkness in your character?
Well, once again, I was you described some of it. In my case, I was unique in a way because I was an alienated kid. Okay. I was a high school dropout at 15. I was one of only a few white families in a black and Puerto Rican neighborhood.
So some alienation.
I was in poverty, raised by a single mom. So I had alienation in a society where I wanted utopia.
John, with all the leftists that I know, 99% of them complete cowards, don't care about the truth, just want to be accepted and praised, and they want to be in with their little clique. That's what they want to do. So they don't care about the truth. What made you courageous to leave it? Because I'm sure that you lost a lot of friends.
You know, I always was somebody who thought for myself. And one of the problems with communism is you don't get to think for yourself. But even as a communist, I was always somebody who didn't go along with all the programs.
Okay.
And being able to think for yourself kind of breaks. A lot of the communist movement, even in America, is made up of like someone like Bill Ayers, sons and rich, privileged kids of the rich. Okay. And they're alienated against their parents.
So you still retained inside of you an individualist, and that part of your character, we could say, was the foundation to you leaving the faith.
And common sense. I grew up with a working class background, and that common sense was something that was lacking in the movement because it came from a privileged background. Most of the people in the communist movement were privileged. Okay. They weren't poor people.
Thank you, John. Anne-Marie, let's move on to you, because at one time, perhaps you weren't a big-time commie, but you were sort of lefty. Now, I've talked to Mark. Mark quoted you to me. He says that at one time you made statements like, while you were on the left, I wish that Reagan, Andropov, Castro, and Margaret Thatcher would just all hug a tree and everything would be better. Is it true that you said things like that?
Do you know what, honestly, I probably said something kind of similar.
I have slandered you, and I'm making it up. Mark never told me that. But was there something close to it?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, what was your belief system?
My belief system was that people like Ronald Reagan were out of touch with reality. They didn't understand the people. And that someone like Jimmy Carter, oh my gosh, I hate when I have to say these things. It's like
what led you to being a brain dead liberal?
What led me to be a brain dead liberal? Yeah. Actually, the first time I met a celebrity was Billy Carter in Plains, Georgia. I was enamored, and I thought, well, I'm going to campaign for his brother when he runs for president, and I did.
What? Let me guess.
Yeah.
Did you have a 9/11 moment?
did,
What
yeah.
brought you out of
It was
that?
9/11 for me, absolutely.
But what about
That-
9/11? What? How?
9/11 made me realize that what evil really was, and that no matter how much we loved Islam, they were never going to love us, and they hated us, and they hated us in a way I'd never experienced in my life. I didn't see that, and you can't fight that. And then I started questioning, well, then war in general, as long as man has a rock in his hand and is human, there's going to be war. It just doesn't matter.
And Anne-Marie, when you finally saw the light, did Mark say, "I told you so"?
Oh, heck yeah. He still does. He's in the control room right now.
And
not
he's probably
in his head.
chuckling.
See, right there.
Anne-Marie, was it difficult? Did you lose some friends? Did you?
Oh, yeah. I
Because
did.
well,
I live in LA, yeah.
a leftist ultimately has to leave his community because they're unforgiving for breaking the party line.
You know when I
Great.
really lost my friends is when I started speaking out, just 5 years ago. That's when I really lost the rest of them.
Orestes Matacena, for a brief moment, you thought Fidel Castro, while you were in Cuba, was a hero or a great man.
Absolutely.
Was it for 2 days,
But
2 hours?
but let me tell you, I can proudly say that I have never in my life believed or liked left-wing people.
Okay.
However, when Castro took over in 1959, he was fighting a dictator, which is a terrible thing.
Okay.
So, of course, I liked him. But the moment, like everybody else in Cuba wanted, because they wanted to get rid of a dictatorship, and he said, I'm going to, so that was fantastic. However, the first day, 6 days after he took over, he spoke to the people. And in his first speech, he says, arms. Why do you need arms for? Okay? Now we have won the revolution. Give us all the arms, all the people.
And
please.
you saw through that.
And I said, wait a second. Why you have to give your weapons to the and they start taking all the weapons like Hitler did, and like Mao Zedong, and like all the dictators always do, that they say, give me the arms, this man, people are going to get killed. Yeah. And from that moment on, so you know what, I started a movement, I started in the resistance, fighting Castro. And I am going to tell you one thing, today I want to tell the entire world that I want to start a resistance here in America.
To who? To Obama?
It's going to be called, I have a name for it. It's TC. Okay? The movement, resistance movement, is going to be called TC. You take it from there on, and you think.
Okay, just a second, Joe. Just for the sake of my show, this is a peaceful movement, right?
No, it's a peaceful movement.
Okay.
Of course. No, a peaceful movement, but to remove all these terrible politicians that are destroying our
Thank you.
From the right and from the left.
Okay, Orestes, thank
Because
you
they're
very
all-
much. Before I move on, John, I see a twinkle in your eyes. Did you want to say something before I asked any question?
Oh, no, I was just listening with, the way he describes it is just very, very powerful and
Yeah.
entertaining at the
Well,
same
I was
time.
going to
He
say...
he really he
Okay.
brings a passion to
Yeah, I
his-
was going to say
his-
you need
his-
to be a little bit more
speaking.
passionate. So, in our last few minutes here, look, let me tell you this. For a family that suffered under Soviet persecution and suffered from Soviet totalitarianism, I can tell you that when we look at Obama, when my mother looks at Obama, when my family looks at Obama, we see something very familiar in the virus that persecuted our family. In our last couple minutes here, who is Obama, what is his administration up to, and how can we resist? John?
Well, once again, I think I may see things different because of my journey. I think in America you got two views as to what the future should be. You have two opposing ideas, and the country's split, and Obama represents whatever percentage of the country that believes in that vision that you need to fundamentally transform America in whatever way that he wants to transform it, which is more whether you call it a social democratic European socialism or whether you
But
believe
just wait,
it's a little bit more.
do you agree that Obama is somebody that wants to destroy the America that represents capitalism and free enterprise, etc.?
I don't know that for a fact. I know that he doesn't respect capitalism. What he respects is social social change.
Okay.
That's what he respects. He's an organizer for social change. That's
He's a
that's what he's
fascist.
always been his whole life.
Okay.
He's a
Okay,
fascist.
okay, 1 second. So, and just finish up. What do you see as what's important to be fighting for the country that we love?
Well, once again, I just like you were talking about, Reagan. When Reagan was president, I was anti-Reagan. I thought he was, a warmonger and all those other things because I was on the far left. I mean, I've come to change my opinion, but I think that point of view is kind of what you need. Is the leadership. I was watching today. When he stood up and talked about Gorbachev tear down this wall. That leadership, that clarity of purpose, and trying to unite the country around making the country the best country in the world again, that's what's needed.
Okay, Anne-Marie?
I'm going to go a little more extreme. I think that Hitler loved Germany and loved the German people. I think he genuinely did in his own way. I don't believe Obama does. Ouch.
And, that would be corresponding to my belief system that he loves America, but just the America that he wants to build on the ashes of the one that he wants to destroy. Orestes Matacena,
That's
you
in
were
this
saying
book.
that you believe
I believe
that
that's in this book, by the way.
that's the most important part of this show so far, and we end with your thoughts. You believe that there are fascistic tendencies in how Obama's running the country.
Everyone who wants the government to put a lot of regulations that the government regulates as much as they can. This is fascism and Nazism, and that's you can scream, start screaming at the TV, in front of you, at me, but that's exactly what is fascism. If you want the government to regulate, that's fascism.
Thank you very much. Our episode has come to an end, and all good things must come to an end. John Duffy, Anne-Marie Murrell, and Orestes Matacena, it was an honor and a privilege to have you on the Glazov Gang.
Remember, TC.
We will remember. And we'll see you next week for another episode of the Glazov Gang. Good night.